Me a microphone. Yeah, good. So nice to meet you for everyone. I'm Alexander. I'm 38 years old. Originally I'm from Kaluga. Now I'm working in Moscow. Actually, I've been to United States, but it was far ago. Actually, I like New York. But here I'm working for international company in IT. So I've been working a lot of international companies, Peugeot, Citroën, Mitsubishi Russia, Volkswagen Group plant, Paraxel, National Oil Arca. It's like American oil and gas company. Now I'm working in VFS. It's like a visa visa application. So I work in as IT regional manager. Moreover, I like studying new, speaking with people because I have worked for Europa Plus. It's a radio station as like radio DJ, and here I've seen actually maybe yesterday some publishment in social networks according. I like this точка dot of yeah, and I decided to visit it. Why not? Why not?
Hi everyone, name is Vladimir. I'm a technical product leader in the cloud division of a telecom company named MTS. So I'm not actually know anything about this event before. A friend of mine sent this to me, and I decided to go and see. Was actually because not a lot of details was noticed on the registration page, so I was wondering what is actually, and went to see. And yeah, I like to raise my English skills in any way, I think.
Be seated. You're in the right place, definitely. We're speaking, singing, whatever we are doing here. So, and now I would like to introduce to our Toastmaster of the day, Daniil Pyzhlakov. Daniil, come on stage.
Dear Toastbus members and guests, actually, I want to start with a round of applause to the Kate, because I started recently helping her with some minor assignments, and you cannot imagine how much it takes really to run this club. So Kate, thank you very much. As you can see, actually, I'm prepared today. It's a new year, and I'm with the dragon. Actually, it's a very lousy t-shirt, very old one. That's why, as we say in Russian, some people get wisdom, some people get something else, and I'm not that fit, but the dragon is a good shape still. And by the way, have you heard this joke about the dragon? It's to the fans of Game of Thrones. So it says, girls, if you deliver a baby this year, you will become a mother of dragon. Yeah, okay. So the intro is over. Samira is here. So Samira, okay, so we can start. Can we get the presentation? The first slide. Okay. So let's pause a bit. Okay. So tell me your sign and I'll tell who you are. So can you guess what we're going to talk about that you've seen already, right? Okay, so you disappeared now. Maybe you see it again soon with the help. Yes, it's going to be about actually horoscope. But before we jump into the topic, I want to introduce the new section. Can you make it, like just a presentation? Yeah, now already the horoscope before, because we already know the topic. Yeah, actually, and before the jump into the discussion, yeah, it's fine now. I want to introduce a new section which I decided to call you can change to the next slide. The vocabulary, because actually it's a vocabulary. Why not to call it this way, right? So actually, you can see all the signs in the Latin and the English, translation into Russian, some kind of word expression and the phrases. We discussed that with Valerie last year, remember? And actually, it's the beginning of the new year. Why not to try it, actually? Okay, so the horoscopes. Who believe in that? sometime. Yeah. Okay, so maybe who reads like every morning or for the year, or maybe who, it's a kind of interesting topic. Who actually, for the girls, who have your hair cut in according to the moon? Because actually I learned that actually that if you want to them grow faster, you need to kind of cut it on the growing moon. And if you want to, oh no, okay. Sorry. Okay, we have some expert as well here. Actually, my kind of attitude towards Gyroscope, by the way, you don't need to write it down if you're doing that. So because it will be sent to your social messages, your post email, to the kind of Gosustlugi account and everywhere. Yeah, for sure. And actually, my attitude towards the horoscope is kind of mixed, because as a rational person with the rational person, not Russian, it's kind of different things, right? So as a rational person with a high education, of course, I don't believe that. But I need to admit that a lot of my friends, very successful, they do discuss the horoscopes as a kind of real thing, absolutely serious. And when preparing for this topic, I checked the internet and found that a lot of people actually not only believe in that, but live in accordance with the horoscope. And I want to give you just several names. So, for example, the Cameron Diaz, you all know her, right? She has her personal astrologist, and she does consult her before doing any kind of big, whatever, movement, purchase of the house, whatever. Beyonce, in 2006, in 2003, she wrote a song mentioning 12 signs and confessed that she believes in horoscope. J-Lo starts every week with the horoscope. And actually, because of that, he hates Virgo. And as a matter of fact, she dismissed 2 girls from the dancing support group because they were Virgos. That's kind of true. Virgo, turn to the vocabulary. And Taylor Swift, she's now at the top. And actually, she said that horoscope helped her to understand her way in life. And Madonna canceled her cooperation with the David Guetta because of his sign, actually. You might be, asking why. Actually, I'm talking about some celebs in Hollywood. They are not kind of serious, right? But I can give you some serious kind of names. For example, the President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, and his wife, they were fan of horoscopes. And they planned the military campaigns in accordance with the horoscope, and even planned the inauguration time. That's why it started by the midnight. Strange time. Another interesting story, the John Morgan, if you missed it, it's the kind of one of the richest person ever who lived on Earth. He canceled his trip on Titanic because in the morning he consulted his astrologist and he told him not to go. And he actually talked to that guy every morning before going to the stock exchange. This is where he worked. And he's famous for the phrase, the millionaires, they don't need astrologists, but the billionaires do. Probably we do not have the billionaires here. Samira, you want to object? No? Okay, so no chance of that. No the billionaires, why not to try the wisdom? Theodore Roosevelt believed in natal charts and kept it on the present table. And of course, all the Nazi leaders, they planned the invasion campaign based on astrology, but that didn't help them. The recent days, because of many things like the disasters, wars, and so many things, people started to turn to the magic, horoscopes, and so on more and more often. To that extent that even some scientists, serious science, like the Russian Academy of Science, you probably might think what the guys doing, nothing from them for many years. But this is what they're doing. They did some research on actually if it's true or not. So they found out that's not actually. But to be honest, I'm not kind of interested in their opinion because we have our own thought of the day master, and we want to hear her. And today is Tatiana Kladesheva.
Thank you, Daniil. We are talking about science today, and I have prepared a very small presentation about slightly different science. but the beliefs are related to what we are talking about. Superstitions, signs, and omens are an essential part of almost each culture. Indeed, they can often help to create some sort of national unification. Numerous superstitions, beliefs, demonstrating how persistent these ideas are, even though they appear old-fashioned for young generations. Let's see what people believe in around the globe. Sweden has numerous superstitions around manhole covers. According to that, if you step on a cover with the letter A, that means bad luck. But if you step on a cover with the letter K, that means a lot in love. In China, number 4 is a bad luck because it sounds like a death. Those of you who have been to China probably noticed that they don't have the 4th floor nor room number 4 in the hotels and no number 4 tables in the restaurants. United States, have you heard the saying Americans say, today is my lucky day? That's when they pick up the penny. And that's not only because they become richer by 1 penny, because they have a belief that finding a penny brings a luck, especially if that penny is made the year when you were born. Germany, saying a toast with a glass of water is a bad luck. That is a good one. That's what I like. And do you know the country which has the majority of superstitions, omens, and beliefs? Of course, Russia believes in black cats, keeping empty bottles on table, spilling a salt, leaving something in the house while going somewhere. But also there are, we have a whole bunch of recipes how to neutralize those bad lucks. And I'm not going to offer you those solutions now, but I'm pretty sure you know all of them. And also you know that what we are going to do tonight, we are going to have fun and have our meeting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the kind of interesting facts. Of course, the Russian Academy of Science, they are not the only science who actually talked about this kind of topic. And I want to provide some interesting facts as well, actually. It's easy. Why should you said that you are kind of a Libra or Capricorn or whatever? Because you're born then the sun is in your constellation, right? It goes around the globe actually and goes through a constellation. So you have the 12 constellations, 12 months, kind of easy. But the problem that all this was created like 2000 years ago. And since that, because of the movement of planets and the Earth, everything changed. So now actually, it's not astronomically correct. So you might be a Libra, but the sun was in something else constellation. Moreover, then they started mapping the sky. They discussed that some constellations are bigger and some are smaller. So the sun, for example, can pass from one constellation for the 45 days and for the other just for the 20. And another thing that they mapped the whole sky and found out that there is an empty piece. And they created another constellation. So you can see actually that in some of the astronomers, they're talking about the 13th constellation, but the traditional ones, they're talking about the 12th. So you can see both points. But they even calculated some interesting statistics. So can you, for example, imagine who is the most genius sign? They have these numbers even. Who is the most genius sign? No, you are Aries, right? No, it's not Aries. So, okay, that's a strong point, but still. Okay, so that's the Gemini that wins. So can you imagine who is the most cruel sign? So committed most crimes? Who? No. It's actually the Cancer, the Crab, and it's based on the FBI statistics. So you cannot object about that. And who is the most, let's say, the pretty sign? Okay. No, it's the Scorpio. And probably you can guess now the my sign. What is my sign? Thank you, but no. Actually, I raised this topic not only to give you some fun, some facts and fun. I decided I wanted to make the test. But before we go into the test, I want us to make sure that we won't miss the very important part, which is not scheduled actually. You don't have it on your agenda, but we do. We should have it. This is the after party, right? And we have a special person who actually keeps on track. This is timer, and today our timer is. Who is our timer? Irina Gurtova.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. In terms of beliefs, omens, there are lots of omens and science about clocks, watches, time, lost, found, stopped, found, etc. Dear Toastmasters and guests, in terms of omens and science, please, what is the sign when your wristwatch has stopped? How do you think? And raise your hand. Is it for good or for bad? Who think is it for good? Okay. And if your watch has stopped, is it for bad or good? Who is for bad or bad? 2 against 1. Okay. So, in according with the science, if wristwatch has stopped, its owner is using time incorrectly. He or she spent money on unnecessary things rather than to buy new batteries. He or she spends time for relationships, unnecessary relationships, rather than to recharge the batteries. And he or she have chosen the wrong way for their development rather than to replace the batteries. So time is ticking, and I have recharged my batteries during New Year's holidays, and I'm here in charge of timekeeping to ensure that everyone speaks within allotted time slots. And I have 3 colored cards to help. I will raise green card if speaker reach hits qualifying time. I will raise green card if speaker hits target time, and I will raise red card if speaker has reached allotted time. Please remember that every speaker has 30 minutes as a grace period to wrap up his or her speech. Table topic speeches are from 1 to 2 minutes, and evaluation speeches shouldn't be more than 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay, I will present my report when general evaluator invites me to the stage again. Thank you very much and good luck.
Unfortunately, there is no star to be born under and to start speaking, freely without any filler words. Only the hard work and help our next role, which is the R counter. And today our counter is Ekaterina Shlakova.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today I will be your accounter. The role is to make notes of any filler words and sounds, such as but, and it is to improve our awareness of our speech patterns. I will provide my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
I'm a bit afraid of the next role because the grammar and especially spelling was never my strongest point. So with the fear and respect, I want to welcome on stage the grammarian, Marchenko Nikolai.
Thank you, Daniel. Hi, everyone. I actually don't believe in science, but I do believe in good grammar. So today I'm a grammarian, and it's my duty to encourage the proper usage of words and to avoid any mistakes. For that purpose, I will be listening very carefully to how you speak. I will note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, sayings, and thirds. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day, which is to augur. Unfortunately, we don't have a blackboard here, but I dropped the word in our chat. And to augur means to pretend, to boast, or to be a sign of. In Russian, it is предвещать. And example of the usage of this word is black cat, augurs, bad luck. So each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and the person who uses it more will be declared a winner. Later on, I will give the grammarian report, and that's all. And also a small story how I stopped to believe in science and horoscopes and all this kind of stuff. Actually, it was a day of my exam, and I had a quite bad horoscope, which said that I shouldn't leave the house. And then I left the house for my exam, and there was a black cat which crossed the street right in front of me. I still went there, and actually I did pass. I did pass the exam, so that was the turning point. So I don't believe in it anymore. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay, so you probably was not attentive too much, but that's pity for you because we have a special role who should checks your how attentive you are, and that is the quiz master. And today our quiz master is Veronica Fedulova.
Hi, everyone. I'm Veronica, and today I'm your quiz master. This means at the end of this meeting, I'm going to ask you some questions about the speeches of our members. And listen carefully, please. You have many chances to get sweets if you give me the correct answer. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all supporting roles are presented, so let's do a quick test because we're already kind of late on schedule for some reasons. So can you turn to the next slide? Okay. Yes, yes. So, okay, so the rules. You have 6 people. Why are you laughing at? Yeah, yeah. Actually, unfortunately, I checked many of her profile public pictures, and they all quite the same. Actually, so I decided to choose this one. Yeah, but actually, if you notice, this the kind of creature has a chocolate, so it's not that actually it's right. It's a nice job actually. Okay, so the rules. You have this. We have the 6 people here. You all know them. You know. Huh? It's a person, right? Okay, so let's unmute the dog. So only there. There is Anna Gonzalez behind the dog. So let's talk about her. And you know the people, you know the characters, and so what's the rules? I'm gonna read you the horoscope characteristics, and you try to tell me who I'm talking about. Okay, so the first one is gonna be the kind of the hardest. So the character of this person, the main character of this person is freedom. Absolutely independent, mind her way, open to new emotions, knowledge, experience, and travel. Mine seemed to be an easygoing person, charming and fun, but in fact, very strict on principles and will not tolerate any injustice. Any ideas who that might be? This guy is kidding me, you know. Yeah, actually, Martina was right. Yeah, that's the Ana Gonzalez, right? Yes. Martina, okay, so let's the next one. So each step it will be easy, right? Because we are crossing some options. Okay, love systematic approach and order. Prefer to control everything and do not allow any spontaneous event to happen. Do not like publicity and prefer cozy companies of friends and family. Like comfort and material things. So everybody agree, right? Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's Samir. Okay, next one. Intellectual, good sense of humor. Any ideas? A good understanding of art, very logical and rational, rely heavily on fact and reasoning, make them a bit longer to find their road in life because they cannot withstand the things they dislike, including work, relationships, very sociable. So who's the person with the good sense of humor? Okay, guys. Pogorelova, the best winner of the humor contest, Martina. Okay, so the next one. Sometimes melancholic. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes. Flexible, will find a way out of any quarrel or fight. Manage to build good common connections with people from different backgrounds. Selfless, good intuition, sophisticated, and brutally honest. Yes. Yes. Okay, so what's the who is for the Valeria Khodkova? And who is for the Anna Rubinina? But actually it's Valeria Khodkova. Okay, so the next. Very ambitious and brave, always the first in any adventure, a lot of energy and activity, not afraid of any task, hardly see her resting, will not ask for help. It's easy for this person to do all on its own. Yeah, but actually, there was a trick actually because they're both the same sign. Yeah, so this was a trick actually, but yes, it's kind of a definition of actually UK. Okay, so you see actually you managed to easily kind of guess most of them. So wherever you don't believe in that probably, but it still kind of somehow works. Okay, so the test is done, all supporting roles are done. So let's turn to the main part of our meeting today. So, and I'm glad to actually present the first speaker today, and I will say, prolonging my topic, it's a Virga. So it's Virga Nik Vasilyev. Nik, just a couple of questions to you. So actually, it says that the Virga is all about system and intellect. It's do you agree with your kind of prescription of your sign?
Well, maybe partly about intellect.
Yeah, but still, I actually noticed that that you selected the topic about the some feelings. So I kind of that's why I'm eager to actually to hear from you that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I've been thinking a lot about the topic of my speech today, and I thought it was important to reflect on compassion and its significance. Compassion is a very interesting virtue because on the one hand, it is not easy to manifest, and on the other hand, it is even harder to accept. The first question I will consider is why compassion is so problematic for both giver and the receiver. And then I will try to justify my kind of claim that compassion is vital and makes us all better persons. The famous German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, among many other things, is known for being extremely dismissive of compassion, believing it to be a kind of manifestation of weakness, a denial of life and human dignity. Although Nietzsche's position is not appeals to many people because of its apparent contradiction to our most basic notions of morality, compassion is often ambivalent to us, invokes kind of ambivalent feelings in us. On the one hand, it is difficult to show compassion for someone I don't like. The people can be who they may be unpleasant in appearance, or they can behave aggressively, or have some seemingly wrong or even horrifying views. They may even treat us very badly. Imagine the most unpleasant person you can think of, and imagine that you need to be compassionate towards them, and you will realize how challenging it is. On the other hand, accepting compassion can be even harder. Why? I think the reason is because it is like becoming dependent on another person, and we feel indebted to them. Paradoxically, sincere compassion is the hardest to accept. The more sincere and longer one person is compassionate to another, the more likely it is that even the most tactful sympathizer will get an irritated reaction from the one they sympathize with. It is very difficult to receive a genuine sympathy with dignity and without irritation. And here we come to the main question of my speech. So why does the compassion matter, given that it is hard to be compassionate, and it is even harder to accept compassion? In one of his books, the famous English writer Clive Lewis addresses the issue of charity. He begins with following quote. Some poet, William Morris, wrote a poem called "Love is Enough," and someone is reviewing it briefly in the words, "It isn't." And Lewis goes on to argue that a kind of supreme love should include charity. And I think that the Lewis thoughts about charity also true about compassion, because compassion is kind of active charity. While it is hard to be compassionate and embrace compassion, it is scary to imagine what our world would be like without it. Let us try imagine, for example, love without compassion. Such love would be hard to distinguish from hatred, because people won't be able to distinguish, to forgive each other, and would eventually become alienated and suspicious towards each other. On the contrary, compassion brings people together and binds them to each other, because through compassion we literally take part in other person's life. We can see life-giving power of compassion in many works of Russian literature. For example, in Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, where the compassion of the loving person helps even the criminal to feel remorse. Compassion, on my view, helps us to show our best human qualities and kind of ennobles our love. Okay, let's summarize briefly. As the ancient Greeks said, halepata kala, that means the good things are hard, and compassion is difficult to obtain. It is difficult for both for giver and for the receiver, but however, the person who has learned the compassion has learned the most difficult and noble kind of love, and I think that is really matters. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so the topic was about the feelings, but the speech was very analytical. So it's right, exactly like I was said in the very good description. So the next speaker is very important to me because it's my mentor. It's the Miles. Miles, are you here?
I am here. How is my sound?
Yeah, it's actually perfect. The same question to you. Do you believe in horoscopes? Do you know what your sign actually? Do you know the characteristics?
Well, I don't believe in horoscopes myself, but you might think after this speech, you might believe that I'm into numerology, numbers, because I'm going to be talking about the number 7 and this chart up here, this diagram. So you might say I'm somewhat mystical.
Okay, so the title of the speech, the 7, let's get this party started. So Miles, whatever the party I'm in, and the floor is yours.
Miles, welcome to the hospital. I'm your nurse, Wayne, and this is Nurse Stephanie. We're here to take good care of you. And first, though, we need your permission to insert this tube called a nasal gastric tube up your nose and down to your stomach. Privet, Oki, Danatada, Tansi, hello and greetings, Toastmasters and guests. My name is Miles Flagg, and I live on Treaty 7 in Alberta, Canada. Treaty 7 with the First Nations people. I'm going to share with you in the next 7 minutes something I could talk about for 7 days, which is illustrated on this chart. But why did I talk about this nasal gastric tube? Well, that's because, as the previous speaker, augurs, with respect to his speech, augurs well for my speech about his speech about compassion. These nurses and doctors showed tremendous passion for me in June of 2023, just last year, when all of a sudden I found myself in the hospital. And a few days previous to that question about the nasal gastric tube, I was in emergency. They stabilized me, and they discovered by putting a scope down my mouth and down into my stomach with a camera on it and light, they discovered that I had a hiatal hernia, paraesophageal hernia, which meant my stomach had moved somehow over time from where it's supposed to be below the diaphragm. It had moved up into my chest, and it was up by my heart. That's not where your stomach is supposed to be. So those were 2 interventions, the nasal gastric tube, the scope down the stomach, and then subsequent to that, I had what was called an epidural put into my back, into my spine for providing pain medication. And then that was at the start of my surgery, where they again had to do surgery to cut me open, and then gently the skilled surgeon pulled my stomach down in a 3-hour surgery. One of the unfortunate things about an epidural is it numbs everything and it stops some of your other functions, not to be too graphic, but To get the urine to flow, well, they have to stick a catheter in there. I've also had recently a scope to explore up to my appendix. So again, not to be too graphic, but a camera, light, and sampling tool on the end of this long hose goes up all the way, travels up to your appendix. Well, this is an illustration, I would say, of reconciling the opposites. Friedrich Wolfgang Hegel, another famous German philosopher, said, life is all about reconciling the opposites. Life is constantly this intermingling of good and bad, love and tyranny. And in my case, with this surgery that I needed, they had to do some rather unpleasant things, but for good eventually. And let me assure you, first of all, the tube was not quite as diameter of this, and it wasn't that bad. It was rather difficult, but they, in some respects, they tell you to first take a deep breath and blow all the air out through your nose as they then plunge the tube into your mouth, or pardon me, into your nose, and then they ask you to swallow, swallow, swallow. Believe it or not, you end up with this tube. And then they had to leave it in there for about 10 days as they pumped out my stomach to get the stomach to settle down, so that then the surgeon, reducing the inflammation, then the surgeon could do his surgery. So again, this is about reconciling the opposites. And these nurses and doctors, to me, are exemplary at this. They show compassion even in spite of the difficult interventions they have to do. Now, I'm saying that I'm seeing in my visionary quest that this is a target audience for me to approach, to see if they would come together with me to talk about some other unpleasant things that I feel, need to reconcile in this day and age. Toastmasters, you're an example of people who can come together and share towards truth and reconciliation. And reconciliation, according to Mizane Gizek, who his indigenous name, his Indian name means one who speaks of images in the sky. He says there's 3 things that we need, or he needs me to be, in order to reconcile Canada's unpleasant, unsettling truths with respect to the past treatment of the First Nations people. He says, number 1, I need you to be my friend. Number 2, I need you to educate yourself about the history. And number 3, I need you to respect all creation stories. And that's what these doctors and nurses are examples of. They were my friend in spite of the difficulties. They educated me about what they needed to do and why it was necessary. And they respected me as a creation story. They didn't ask me who I was. They didn't ask me what my religious beliefs are, or where I came from, or what nation I live in. And with our world situation today, I believe we need to actually go into difficult conversations. And when I say, let's get this party started, I want to take my Toastmaster skills and create a political party that will address, not be afraid to tackle some of these very unpleasant questions for the sake of something else the Indigenous people taught me, the 7th generation. We need to think forward to the 7th generation. Madam Toastmaster, or Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Miles. Actually, not the party, kind of unexpected. Because I wanted to have some, party, but not the party. But okay, so I hope you had some fun and you are good now. The next speaker is Alexandra Fedorenko with her speech, Why Impromptu Travel is Good for You. So the same question to you. Do you believe in horoscopes?
Yes and no.
Oh, yeah, it depends. I know
It
it.
depends. Of course, I take only the best description and I leave the worst description of my sign to someone else. So I'm a Capricorn, and they say that a Capricorn is the worst zodiac sign. Thank you. And they also say that it is the best. So I do believe that it is the best. But what is definitely true is that Capricorns do love to travel. And they also say that Capricorns are the best signs to travel with. So if you need someone to travel with, take a Capricorn.
I actually wanted to say the same because in your description, it says actually that you are very good with planning and traveling. And I thought that it's somehow connected to your speech. So impromptu travel, why it's good for us, I would be eager to learn actually. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. All right, impromptu traveling. So let me start with a story of my very first travel, the one that I actually remember. I was a student back then, and it was my first trip outside of Russia. A group of students was taken to Sweden and to Finland, and everything was planned for us. That is a great thing, right? And I kind of hated it. And I hated it because you don't have time. Because constantly you hear, you have to hurry, you have 15 minutes, take some pictures and let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Probably this is when I started to develop some uneasiness to, perfect planning and some passion for impromptu traveling. My impromptu traveling started small. It all started with, like strolling around the town and picking some not really well-walking routes. You turn somewhere when you see an interesting pass, or maybe somewhere far away, you see a statue that kind of grabs your attention and you decide to walk there. Then I would go on, having my weekends not planned, or I would plan a trip, but I would still leave some days that I would just leave free and I would decide what I would do. Maybe do nothing, just stay at home or go to the beach, or maybe I would go on some crazy adventures. The pinnacle of my impromptu travel happened last year when me and my travel partner bought tickets to Vladivostok. One-way tickets with no set plan and just some ideas of the places that we wanted to visit. So now probably you wonder why impromptu travel is good for you. So let me give you some reasons, giving you also some descriptions from my pinnacle traveling. So the very first reason is you will interact with the locals more. When you don't have a plan, you actually have to go out there and talk to people. What happened to us during our 45 days of traveling? We actually had to interact with people all of the time. For example, on one day we decided that maybe we want to rent a car and move around in a car. And when we went to an agency, they told us that we are kind of crazy because the car that we want to take wouldn't be allowed outside of the city. So by the way, guys, Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk, a crazy place if you decide to go there. So by interacting with that person, we learned that there is a service, which is like BlaBlaCar for travelers. Basically, you go there and you see where travelers are going to go on this day, on the next day, or some other day, and you can join them. This is how we actually traveled most of the time while in Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk. And by doing that, we actually saved some money on renting a car, some money on tour guides, and we definitely met lots of really great people. Okay, the second reason, you would save time planning. Because usually when you plan in advance, you have to spend lots of time trying to find the perfect hotel, the perfect route, the perfect restaurants, and so on and so forth. By the way, by saving this time, you would probably also have to get rid of your perfectionism, because when you didn't plan something in advance, you might not actually get what you want to get at the last minute. Not a bad thing. Okay. The next thing, you would need to embrace your sense of spontaneity, and train your muscle of adaptability. So you remember I told you that we didn't really plan? Not completely true. At some point, we decided that we want to go to the Kuril Islands. And to get there, you actually need to get a permit. And you need to apply for this permit at least 15 working days in advance, which we did before we even got on a plane. However, when we turned to the place where we needed to get the permit, it turned out that we screwed up. We actually sent the wrong form. So we got rejection. So what do? Of course, first of all, you say, what can you do? Is it possible to get the permit in 5 days instead of 15 days? They didn't promise us anything, but of course we waited, hoping to get on the ship. Sometimes you actually have to get some tickets in advance. At the same time, getting to know where we can go. For example, Kamchatka or some other places, Khabarovsk and so on and so forth. And also we got to know what happens if we don't get a permit. Basically, you just lose some money because you have to cancel your tickets, but that's it. All right. The next thing is you would get the experiences like no one else. Because usually when you plan in advance, what happens, you Google something like the best places in Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk, or the best places in the Kuril Islands, or the best places anywhere. However, when you have to do things last minute, you kind of have to grab what lies ahead of you. And most of the time, it happens to be the best experience of a lifetime. Basically, what happened to us at some point was that we were supposed to go from one place to another place, and we met a person. I don't know the English word, but thanks God you understand the Russian. So the braconnier, who was fishing, and it turned out that his boss is going to the direction of the place where we are going, so we didn't have to wait for the bus, and we got to know some amazing facts and so on and so forth. So basically, by impromptu traveling, you just have the experience of a lifetime. And most importantly, and something that probably would be my number one thing, you get to explore your inner self. Because it is so easy to be a good person when everything is perfectly planned. However, it is so difficult to be nice and calm when you live in instability and uncertainty, and you don't really know where you will sleep tomorrow or where you will happen to be in a week's time or in 2 weeks' time. So these are the 5 reasons why I believe that impromptu travel is good for everybody. However, I do need to give you some things to consider. First of all, impromptu travel probably isn't for everyone. So if you are an easily scared or a paranoid person, try it with caution, all right? Next, let me tell you what to expect during the impromptu travel. You will embrace multiple challenges. As you don't really know where you will happen to be in a couple of days, you will have to be challenged by the weather conditions, by no vacancy in hotels or in camping sites and so on and so forth, cashless ATMs, lack of entertainment, because sometimes when you see something interesting, the event is sold out, right? And also you will actually have to deal with your bad mood sometimes and the mood of your fellow traveler or travelers. On the brighter side, there is one thing that you definitely would not expect, and that is an idle mind. Your mind will constantly be working. All right, so let me get back to the points of why the impromptu travel is good for you. Can you help me with that? So what was the first point? Meeting with locals and talking with the locals more. Thank you. What was the second one? Saving time, planning. Okay, the third one? Always, of course, getting rid of your dementia. if you have any. Basically working on your sense of spontaneity and training your adaptability muscle. Yes. The fourth thing is making memories like no one else. And the last, the most important for me, is actually exploring your inner self. Basically, if we're talking about the impromptu travel, it is definitely not about ticking all of the boxes on your travel lists. It is more about being present in where you are at that given moment and enjoying that moment to the fullest. Thank you. Now, should you have any questions about the impromptu travel and how to deal with it, I would gladly answer all of them. Yes. Oh, that is a very good question. I would say that the most memorable at this particular moment would not be impromptu. It's just going to be the latest one. I recently came back from my skiing trip to Altai and Khakassia, where I was actually camping with the backpack, a huge one, on the skis, trying to survive the weather conditions and the long hours of getting from point A to point B. However, if I close my eyes, I would probably be able to remember each and every one of my travels. It's all about being there and then, right? Thank you. That is a wonderful question. And I'm actually a lucky person who met my traveling partner and a dear friend 3 years ago. And most of my travels happened with that crazy girl. Basically, she's the one who made me go on some of my craziest trips. And she is the one who showed me that impromptu travel is something worth going for. However, as it turns out, even when I go somewhere to planned travels and to group travels, most of the people are like-minded, with some minor exceptions. Yes. On the recent trip, let me tell you about something I discovered before, and I kind of get confirmed at this recent trip too. I always thought that I was an extrovert. I'm actually not. I think that I'm a trained extrovert, but I'm an introvert inside. And I actually enjoy being by myself. So during this particular trip, I was usually the last one in the group. I would literally ask for everybody not to wait for me and give myself like 5 minutes of time behind everybody so that it would seem that I'm completely alone. And basically, it's not because I don't like to talk to people. I love people. But deep inside, I'm a misanthrope who hates people and who enjoys being on my own. Yeah. Yes. Oh, that is a good question. Budget is a big question when it comes to planning. So over the years of experience traveling, I do have some kind of a list of the necessities. So basically, you know that you need these things to take with you. If something happens, you definitely need to have some kind of a budget to be able to buy something that you need on the spot. Speaking about the budget overall, it turns out that impromptu travel is definitely more expensive than planned travel. So basically, if you plan to spend, let's say, 50,000 rubles for your vacation, make sure that you plan a budget of 50% more of the money just in case. If you plan to spend 1,000 rubles or something like that, again, 50% would be a good sum to kind of keep in mind. And probably a credit card, which I'm not a fan of having credit cards, but having a credit card with you sometimes is a good thing, or some cash, because in most of the places in rural Russia, they do not take credit cards, but they will gladly take some cash. Yeah. Yes. Oh, that is a beautiful question, especially because last year during my trip to the Far East, so we've experienced a meeting with a bear. I cannot say that that was a very dangerous encounter, but it was a fun one, something to remember. Basically, it was in the Kuril Islands, the island of Iturup. So two girls with the backpacks walk in some direction, and there are cars passing by, and they're like, "Where are you going?" We're like, "We're going to some lake, God knows, like 20 kilometers away from here." And like, "Do you understand that there are bears in here?" We're like, "Yep." "And you're not scared?" We're like, "Nope." So probably 30 minutes later, actually remembering what the guy said, we're like, maybe we should make some noise. So what happened? We actually turned on some classical music on our phones. So we were walking, listening to some classical music. We were dancing, making fun, going crazy. And at some point, somewhere far away, we saw a bear. And it was like a huge bear, like a really grown up, an adult one. And he was walking towards us on the roads in front of us. And that was the moment when we realized that our classical music is not loud enough. So the first reaction was to stop. The second reaction was to take several steps backwards. But then we remembered that with the bears, you actually have to show confidence. So we went back and we started screaming, like with a very confident voice, "Bear, let us go. Go away," and so on and so forth. And we tried to make it very, very loudly. So at some point, by the way, they are blind and deaf. But at some point, he heard us and he went away. So that was probably the most dangerous situation, encountering a bear. There were some crazy ones because we also like to climb to some places, and usually it's not very safe. But we hope that it will all end for the best. So far, so good, nothing broken, still here. Yes. Yes, thank you so much for this beautiful question. It would actually turn out that the last trip to the forest was the longest one. We traveled for 45 days. Yes, so yes, that is the longest of all. So basically, we've spent like 12 days in Vladivostok, then probably 2 weeks in the Kuril Islands, and the rest would go to the Sakhalin Islands because we traveled all around. And the most difficult thing that we encountered would actually be this last-minute travel, not travel, but going somewhere last minute. Because basically what happens, sometimes you are in some place and you don't want to go, but you have to go just because, you kind of need to buy tickets at some point. And this is exactly what happened. And also the weather conditions. We took a helicopter from one island to another, and they turned us back when we were already in the air, just because the weather on our island, on Shikotan, was perfect, but the weather on another island where we were going was actually horrible. It was all foggy, so they would not let helicopters in. And because of this particular thing, we actually had to cancel the whole trip to that island, just because that was the moment that told us maybe we should check the weather. And it turned out that it was going to rain for 11 days straight. And that was exactly the time that we planned to stay there. So I would say that the weather conditions and that idea of actually having to move at some point. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Yes. No, it's not scary. It's actually fun, especially when you talk to people who actually the pilots of the helicopter, and it turns out that you understand that they know what they are doing. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do. And I highly recommend it because to travel on a helicopter from one Kuril Island to another Kuril Island is the cheapest helicopter flight that you can actually buy. It costs us like 2,000 rubles per ticket. Yeah. 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 Because it's like a train. It's like a metro for them. How many what? Oh, no, I believe it's either an 8-person helicopter. Basically, it's like a bus. Yeah, it's a regular route that moves between islands. Yeah. And it was created specifically for people, yeah. Yeah, there was such a question, but thank you very much for reminding it. Basically, my answer was, and I cannot change it, each and every trip, each and every travel is amazing in a way. And it is impossible to pick the favorite one or the best one, just because they are all different. And each and every travel, it gives you some experiences that the previous one didn't give you. And the next one would give you something that you didn't experience before. So for me, it is impossible to choose the best one. No, that's all good. Actually, I'm going to be the ambassador of the forests of the Kuril Islands and of the Sakhalin. If I get to Kamchatka, maybe I will become an ambassador of the Kamchatka as well, but definitely that one. Yeah. Okay, so the timer shows me that my time is up. Thank you so much for your questions. It was my pleasure. And I really hope that at some point you will be telling us about your impromptu travels. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually very jealous because I'm from Khabarovsk region, but I've never been to the Sakhalin and Kuril Island. And we are, I think, on time for the break. And the break will be for the 5 minutes. So fill yourself with the last year cookies. Samira, the one and the only.
Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to the table topic session. And now we are venturing into the realm of impromptu speaking. And what is impromptu speaking? It is a valuable skill that help us to navigate unexpected moments in our life, whether it is challenging question from our supervisor or boss, or unexpected question in a job interview. The ability to think on our feet is something that we can refine through exercises such as table topics. Our theme today centers around a very interesting subject of ancient omens and symbols, and of course, ongoing debate on destiny. And the questions that I prepared are designed to prompt insightful and spontaneous responses from each of you. Please remember that table topics is not about having a perfect answer. It's more about practicing control in uncertain situations. And let me remind you some rules regarding table topic session. I will call you on stage or you will come by yourself. And then you have to grab one of these cards. And then you have to read the question out loud so that everyone will hear it. And you can have 30 seconds to gather your thoughts if you need, or you can start speaking immediately if you're prepared. And also please pay attention to our timer, Irina, who will show you timing signals. So if you see the green light, it means that you reached the minimum limit. And if you see the red card, it means that you have to finish your speech. So this is all. Let's start. Who will be the first one? Yes, come on stage.
Do you believe? Okay. Do you believe in the concept of lucky numbers? And if so, do you have a specific number that holds significance for you? What's the story behind it? Okay. Do you believe in the concept of lucky numbers? And if so, do you have a specific number that holds significance for you? What's the story behind it? Okay. Let's assume I'm now going to make a PR action for the digit 8. Just imagine. My favorite digit or number is 8. Just imagine. If you lay 8 down, it's going to be infinity. If you tear 8 apart to 2 halves, it's going to be 2 zeros. So if you turn 8 inside out, it's going to be 1 0. So it's the most magnificent number. It can be either infinity or 0. So and it except 0, it's the only number or digit that has closed writing, closed line. So that's it. And maybe another, as for a man, digit 8 associates me with what to say, one beautiful part of lady's body. That's it.
Thank you very much. So who is the next person? It's secret. You will reveal it after Valeria.
Okay, if you could exchange a memory from your past for a glimpse of a future moment, what memory would you trade and what future event would you choose to witness? That's deep. Okay. Naturally, the first thing that comes to my mind is to exchange something bad, something that I don't want to remember. But we tend to learn from bad experiences. So what would I lose if I exchange that memory? So that's the question that went through my mind when I first read that, because I don't want to lose the lessons that came with the bad experience. But I do have one particular memory that I would exchange, maybe just something that's not necessary. I probably exchanged the time I lost my keys. That's not a necessary memory. Or maybe a time I saw a random cat on the street. Is that necessary to me? I don't think so. Maybe I can exchange one of those simple, unimportant memories for a glimpse of how I became rich, because that is what I'm trying to achieve right now. And I would like to know how the hell I did it so I can do it now and get there faster. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valeria, for your humorous response. So who will be the next? Maybe a newcomer. Yes. Choose.
So let's try it on and this one.
Please introduce yourself first.
I'm Alexander. Okay, let's start. If you had a crystal ball showing one aspect of your future, what specific detail would you want to see, and how might it influence your present actions? One aspect of the future. Specific detail. What do you want to see? To see the future. Okay, if I want to see some stuff for my future, it's seems to be very funny. Because to know future, it's like a super action from the Superman, maybe from Batman, you know. So maybe I would like to see how much money I will have in the future. How much money I will have maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20. Because, you know, sometimes I'm looking and just surfing Instagram, have a lot of good ideas, you know, good house with good design. Why not? Maybe it's a surf trip on Bali. Why not? So, and if I knew how many, you know, money I will have maybe in 10 years, so I can plan this money, you know, why not? So maybe in other aspects, so maybe how many children I will have maybe in 10 or in 5 years, because, but you know, it's question is connected with the first one. How much money I will have in 10 years. So yeah, money is very important. Because no, and maybe the third the step of this brilliant of this poll, it will be how many friends or maybe close friends I will have in 10 years, so we can sit together in good restaurant or maybe in good chalet in mountains and drink good wine. Why not? And it will be good, and it will be very soul and very very close to my soul, to meet these people with a good amount of money and with my close children. So thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Who else? Okay, let's come. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Alexander. Have you ever found accuracy or insight in an astrological reading about yourself? And did it impact your beliefs or actions? Okay, I'm Cancer, so my sign is Cancer. And if I read the horoscope, it is not something which is a usual thing to do for me. But if I read it, I'm really interested in what is written about me and my sign. And I think that my sign has certain features which is really often described quite accurately. And I think that I am a good representative of my horoscope sign. At least my friends tell me that I am a typical Cancer, and they usually like Cancers. On the other hand, I don't usually use this knowledge in my life, and it does not impact my actions, because life is something very, how to say, it's really a surprise every day and every minute, and I like this emotion of being surprised of what is happening in my life. So I don't usually plan according to some features which I have or which I don't have, and I'm not afraid of any actions which may happen to me, and I'm not afraid of some experience which I will have, even if I'm not ready for this. So it's a good knowledge if you're reading good things about you, and it's nice if you have something to talk about, maybe with an unknown person, if you talk about horoscopes. But I don't think that it's something which you shall be just very focused on, when planning your life and planning your actions. Thank you.
And we have some time for the last speaker, Martina. Choose the question.
My name is Martino. 12, number 12, numbers. So imagine receiving a letter from your future self. What advice or warning do you think your future self will share? And how might alter your current mindset? Imagine receiving a letter from your future self. What advice or warning do you think your future self will share? And how might alter your current mindset? You thought about these questions? Well, where people thought about money tonight, money is maybe the most important thing. Yeah, I agree, but probably the most important thing that is I would see for me in the future, and I would like to be remembered of, because sometimes people focus too much on the money, but once I read a book that said, remember that the money is something that is unlimited, while time is something that is limited. So in that sense, probably the message that I would like to see is, remember actually, is the fact that focus on the time and to focus on the time, on the quality of the time that you to have quality time. So in relationship with people and having good time and enjoy what you have, because eventually spending the time running after money, it may waste your whole life, and somebody may realize it too late for that. And it's something actually something I experience on my skin as well. So because sometimes you just forget about the present moment and you just work, you just do the things because you have a target, but you may not realize important things that come your way, like keeping up with good relationships, friends, just having just enjoy the moment and not thinking about just the future. So the message is that I would like to see and remember is about enjoy the life as much as possible, and in a way that is, first of all, sustainable, right? So it shouldn't be just enjoy yourself, and yeah, make a good use of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. So this is the end of the table topic session, and I'm really grateful for your active participation and your willingness to challenge yourself with difficult questions. And especially thank you to our newcomers, because I think you're already professional speakers. I was really surprised by the level of your speeches. So, and I would like you to take the agenda and scan the QR code. We have to vote for the best table topic speaker. So back to you. Master.
Thank you very much. Okay, so one of the most important parts today, because we're not only giving the speeches, we are actually learning. And we're learning by getting some feedback. And I would like to call on stage our general evaluator for today, Irina Terentьева.
Thank you, Daniil. Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. How are you doing today? Yeah, Kate. Yeah, the most energetic person here, the Madam President. What about others? Because at the beginning of the meeting, everyone was so fun and everyone was laughing and talking. And right now, So could you please give more energy? Because as Daniil has just pointed out, we are answering probably one of the most useful and one of the most important parts of every Toastmasters meeting. So please give a round of applause so that we can start. Good. Now, yeah. So this is the spirit. This is the spirit of Toastmasters. Now it's much better. Well, why is it so important, this evaluation session? Because as it was already pointed out, it is all about analysis and just reaping the rewards of our work, because the speakers are getting some feedback, and not only speakers, but basically everyone who made today's meeting possible. All the roles and even the evaluators will also get some brief feedback from general evaluator, who happens to be me today. Well, every evaluation session consists of 3 parts, especially for newcomers, like special for you, the short explanation of what exactly will happen during the next several minutes. First of all, I will give the stage to personal evaluators who will give their feedback to the speakers that we had pleasure to listen to today. Then we will listen to brief reports of all the functionaries, as they sometimes called in Toastmasters, timer, grammarian, accounter, and so on and so forth. And then we will conclude the meeting and evaluation session with some brief, it seems to me that today it will be really brief, feedback from me on the overall meeting. Okay? Is everyone okay with the plan? Good. Not that you actually had any choice, but it's good to know that you are okay with that. And now we will start the first stage, which is the personal evaluation. And first of all, I would like to invite to the stage personal evaluator. Well, I do not want to say number 1 or number 2. Everyone is number 1 here, actually. But this personal evaluator, Valeria Pogorelova, will give her feedback to Nikolai Vasilyev. Valeria, the stage is yours.
All right, I'm ready. Sorry, gathering myself. Okay, composure. I as Irina pointed out, will be evaluating Nikolai's speech, which was Compassion Matters. What is the point of writing a speech? Usually we all have different purposes. Maybe we want to entertain, we want to make people laugh, we want to share our message. All of us have different reasons why we come to the stage and the kind of content that we share. But I personally believe the main purpose, the main reason that we do this underneath all of that is to influence people, to somehow change how others think, change other people's minds. And to influence how someone thinks, we need to change their emotions. How do we do that? How can we change our audience's emotions? First of all, facial expressions, which Nikolai did an excellent job of using. When he spoke, I think I've written down examples. Yes, I did. When he spoke, I believe it was about Nietzsche being extremely dismissive. yes, thank you. So when he talked about Nietzsche being extremely dismissive, he screwed up his face to show that dismissive, disgust kind of look, which is an excellent tool in a speaker's toolbox. Yeah, let's call it that, to use to influence your audience's emotions. You show the feeling, you try to get that picture into your audience's mind. So facial expressions, great job, Nikolai. I really enjoyed that. Also, the structure of your speech was really easy to follow. I thought everything was very clear. Your spoken language was very varied, and it was interesting to listen to. Now, you asked me specifically to pay attention to your body language and your gestures. And I noticed, which I thought was great, you had the microphone like we all do today, and you switched your hands, which is excellent to give yourself some variety. You don't just stand here using one hand, because then it becomes repetitive. Now, the things that you can work on is creating more of that imagery with your hands. Just like the dismissive example, you can fling your hand away from you to show dismissal. Paint a picture for us, get into our minds. So practice at home thinking, what do I want my audience to visualize? If you're talking about a trip around the world, use round gestures. If you're talking about something powerful, something strong, use your hands, use your gestures. Think about the pictures you want. And I think my last suggestion is to maybe learn how to remember the information by looking into the audience, because we tend to look up when we're thinking and when we're remembering. Try to learn to look into your audience and pause and think, but when you're looking at us rather than looking up or looking down or looking to the side. So thank you very much. I've very much enjoyed your speech, and I'm looking forward to your future speeches. Keep practicing. And oh, I meant to summarize what I said. Okay, so what did I say? I said eye contact, look into the audience, gestures, paint a picture, and keep using those great facial expressions. Thank you very much, everyone.
Now I'm making a handshake, Valeria. Thank you. Lera, thank you so much for such an encouraging and detailed evaluation, because not only did Valeria mention what was done well in the speech, but also she provided very specific examples so that the speaker knows what worked well today and can continue using the same techniques in the future. And I also enjoyed the fact and appreciated the fact that you pointed out why we do this actually, and what is the whole purpose of speaking on stage, because I think it is important to remind ourselves from time to time, why are we doing this after all? The only suggestion on my part would be probably just to make this introduction a little bit shorter, because it seems to me that you are running out of time. And if you decide to add evaluation contest to your humorous one in spring, that really matters to meet the time limit. So maybe just a couple of sentences at the beginning of your speech, and then you can start the evaluation itself in order not to exceed the time limit. Thank you. And now we are ready to listen to the next personal evaluator who is online. This is Michael Thorne, and he will be giving his feedback on the speech of Miles Flagg. Michael, this stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying, damn, do I have to follow that evaluation, which I thought was absolutely outstanding. Having said that, Miles, I enjoyed your speech. And let me get to the really good parts at the very beginning. You stood for your speech. It is so easy when you're online to just remain seated as I am right now. So I admired the fact that you stood up and made your presentation. I would also stand up, but then I'd have to wear pants. So we'll let that slide by. I also thought your delivery was very clear. You wasn't rushed. You had good pauses, very clear context. Everything came through very nicely. And I thought your gestures of your hands were well done, especially with that tube. which by the way, I had done to myself one time. And I only could think maybe you could have moved a little bit more from side to side because you're pretty much stationary the whole time. And now I get to your topic of your speech. 7, let's get the party started. And I see on the wall behind you, you have your attitude and your circle with the numbers in it. And you refer to that as being your numerology. And then you promptly went off on a tangent. But what I took as a tangent, which was your surgery description. And I first want to commend you that your use of language was very good to generate interest on it. It had a definite impact. Nobody wants to go through that, anybody in the audience, I'm sure. But perhaps you could have had more drama or more passion to it. Because it seemed like a pretty, I put up my nose, go down my throat. No, it was not a big deal. I put up my nose and went down my throat. Make people feel exactly what it might have been like. And then you got down near the end of your time to your speech about attitude, which is on the wall right behind you. And here's where I thought there's a little major disconnect, Miles. You never really explained your numerology and what that numbers inside a circle really meant. It was like an afterthought. And I thought maybe you could have driven it more into, this is why I'm talking about this. This is what these numbers refer to. This is what numerology is all about. It's not horoscope. It's something that I believe in, something I follow. It just lost me in the gap. In fact, it could have been a speech in and of itself. You might consider doing that for your next speech, numerology. And finally, you summarized it very nicely, but what I would have liked to have seen was a call to action. What you want me to do in the future based upon what you've discussed. Which leads me to my final point. Your Toastmaster is very lucky to have you as a mentor, because you appear to have your act together, and I can see you making it clear to others on how to do it. Well done.
Thank you, Michael. And we are really lucky to have you as our evaluator today and as a member of Toastmasters community. So thank you so much for your amazing, sincere, and also detailed evaluation. So thank you for pointing out all the things that were done really well in my speech and those things that could be improved next time. Again, another suggestion from my side would be to pay a little bit more attention to time limit. Probably I should not repeat it too many times today, but still, as Martino said today, who remembers this quote? Who was listening carefully to Martino's speech about time? Yeah, money, despite the fact that we were talking about money a lot today, but money has its limits while, vice versa, it doesn't have any limits while time does. So guys, we should be really careful about timing because it happens to be our major problem today. Anyway, Michael, thank you so much for your evaluation and we are ready to move on. Now we will listen to the next personal evaluator of the meeting, who is Anastasia Grebenyuk, and Anastasia will give her feedback on the speech of Alexandra Fedorenko. Anastasia, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Dear friends, why it's important to have impromptu travel and why this travel is good for you. I'm a person who loves impromptu travel, and when it's difficult to go to Paris, my impromptu travel is limited by Rязань, Smolensk, and Tula for the third time. but I haven't reached the Far East yet. And actually, it's my dream to go somewhere to Sakhalin or to Kamchatka or somewhere else. So I hope it will be my next level. And dear Alexandra, thank you for this wonderful topic. And thank you for this geographical experience that you shared with us today. So the purpose of that speech was the facilitation of question and answer session, and to run a well-facilitated question and answer session. And I'm 100% sure that you completed this project and your purpose was achieved. So let's see the evaluation in details. And first of all, I would like to mention your positive points. There were a lot of positive points. First of all, good structure and usage of storytelling. I remember your training, it was fantastic, and you used it once again in English, so it was great. You also mentioned some key points, first, second, third, even fourth and fifth. And everyone, I guess, remembered the points that necessary to retain from your speech. The next point are gestures. So you showed us with the non-verbal communication how to make your speech more beautiful. So that's great. Then you used vocal variety. Then you summed up the important things with the conclusion. And that's the point for the structure. And also, I would like to mention the interaction with the audience. You asked everyone which points of impromptu travel are important. And you also had good bridge, I don't know how to say it, from the main points from the main part of your speech to question and answer session. And also you conducted this with a big empathy, and you answered every question, so that was perfect. Some points of improvement. I would mention 2 points. First of all, you spoke rather quickly, as I do right now. So I wish you to have more pauses. And I would add something else before in the introduction. Just say a few words about the structure of your question and answer session. For example, I will tell you a story, and during the second part, we will have this little question and answer session. And to challenge yourself, you are a very professional speaker, so I wish you take more interest in projects, maybe panel discussion, something else, like I guess that you can take projects of a very high level. And I wish you win the contests, international contests and so on, and maintain your proficiency. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. I believe that was the most encouraging evaluation of tonight. I'm sorry, all the evaluators, but you really need to work hard to somehow compete with Anastasia on the matter of encouraging the speakers of the Toastmasters. Yeah, thank you, Nastya, so much. And another important thing that Anastasia did in her evaluation was that she emphasized the project, because it is also important to remember what the project of the speaker is and what the purpose of the speech was. Because again, it is not just our own decision what to speak about. We should also align with the purpose of the project and stick to it. So it was really important that you emphasized it and reminded us all about this. The thing that, again, I would advise as a general evaluator to keep in mind next time is to remember that your evaluation is also a speech. So probably next time you can just look at the audience a little bit more to get rid of your papers, at least just from time to time, because it is also our opportunity to speak and to practice our speaking skills on stage. So just, I'm sure that next time your evaluation will be even better and even more encouraging. Thank you. And now, who remembers what we are going to do next? I'm trying to wake everyone up. Come on, guys. Yeah. So Sasha, you're the only one who answered my question that you are not sleeping. So what are we going to do next? No one is sleeping. Okay, good. So those of you who are not sleeping, what are we going to do next? That is too early for that. Yeah, we need to listen to the team of experts. And first of all, we will listen to the person who doesn't believe in astrology, but does believe in grammar. Nikolai Marchenkov, you are welcome on stage with your report on grammar.
Thank you very much. I'll try to be short as we are out of time. So let's cut straight to the point. Samira. Okay. Unexpected moments in job interview. I think it's better to say at job interview. Then Nikolai, you said on my view, in my view. Veronica, you said this mean. I think maybe I just misheard, or you. The more proper way is to say this mean. This means. Yuri, a great story about the number 8. You said it was the most magnificent number. However, the more correct way to say is magnificent. Alexander, you said hi for everyone. It's either hi everyone or to say hi to everyone, but not for. And work in company, work at a company. And aspects. And I like the word spontaneity spoken by Sasha. Yes. And you didn't know the meaning of the word браконьер, which is actually I didn't know too, so I checked it, and it's poacher. Yeah, poacher. And we don't have a word of the day winner. I didn't hear anyone to say Olga. Maybe I was not attentive enough. Or maybe my word was not great enough, so I don't know. And what else? I think that's all. I think I'm done. Yeah. Thank you, Irina.
Thank you, Nikolai. Very strict and thorough analysis. Thank you so much for pointing out all our inaccuracies and also good usages of language, because again, it is another aspect that is sometimes overlooked by grammarians. Everyone is so eager to criticize their fellow Toastmasters on their mistakes that they forget to emphasize what was done well, but Nikolai managed to do it as well today and highlight the good usage of language too. Nikolai, maybe just a suggestion, not only for you, but for everyone. I always suggest that we do not name people who make mistakes, despite the fact that we're all a friendly community here and we all support each other. Still, I believe that there could be some people who do not feel very comfortable with this. So it's always better just to, and you can actually make it as a game, like to just read it out loud, the mistakes that you've heard, and then, well, let's correct it together so that we can feel smarter, but not sillier. So I think that would be nice to do next time. And as for the word of the day, I actually did not hear it. I need to be honest with you guys. I did not know this word before, and I did not hear it very well. I know that today it is a little bit more challenging for us to have it on like a flip chart, but still maybe before the meeting, it could be placed on the slide so that we can see it on the screen. Or you could have written it just on a piece of paper in capital letters and demonstrate to everyone, like, look, this is the word of the day, please use it. So maybe it is the reason why not so many people or no one use the word of the day today. Anyway, thank you, Nikolai. And now we are moving on with our evaluation session, and we will listen to another expert who will tell us a brief report on how well we are doing with all the us, us, you know, and so on and so forth. Please welcome our counter, Ekaterina Shulakov.
Yep. So actually, I didn't make many notes of filler words. However, good job on that. However, I made many notes with filler sounds. These are and R. So one of the speakers used many of these. And also during table topic sessions, there were such mistakes. Basically, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ekaterina. Oh my, I'm so terrible at all this. Yeah, thank you. And do we have the person who does not use any filler words or filler sounds? Can we praise someone for being so clear with their speech? Daniil, let's give a round of applause to Daniil. Great job. Anyone else? Samira, yeah? Were you pointing at Samira as well? Valeria. Another round of applause to Valeria. Well done. Alexandra Fedorenko, another winner. And yeah, let's praise someone else. Yeah, and everyone else, just a couple of filler words. Good job. Yeah, thank you, Ekaterina, for your report. Again, a short notice for everyone that it's always nice to point out not only mistakes, but also something that we are doing good so that we can just be proud of ourselves and feel good of ourselves. And another suggestion is probably to share some tips. I think that it is a very common thing already among Toastmasters, and probably everyone knows some of the tips how to deal with fillers, but still, maybe it would be also useful for everyone to know how to deal with this in the future. Yeah. By the way, do you know any tips that you can just say out of your head? Yeah, to be conscious, to pay attention to it, to record yourself, yeah, to listen to your speech, to slow down and make a pause. So if you are not sure what to say next, instead of saying, just make a short pause and then you continue. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. And who are we going to listen to next? Quizmaster timer. I believe it is timer according to the agenda today. And I can see that Irina is writing down something frantically, leaving her latest notes. Yeah, Irina, the stage is.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So I'm here with my report. Dear Toastmasters and guests, I will start with prepared speeches. It is important because people prepare it and tried to be on time, of course. Nikolai took 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Well done. Good for you. Miles took 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Miles, 40 seconds. Good job, but 10 seconds more. Alex took 20 minutes and 13 seconds. Fantastic. Keep it up. Good job. Perfect job of timer. Yeah. So every who took part in TT session speaks within the allotted time slot. My congrats. Guys, this is first class work. No, excepting Valeria. Lera, your speech was 1 minute, 6 seconds. Yes, if it was the contest, it is this disqualification. Yes, 1 minute, but you spoke so fast. Maybe. Yes, but your evaluation speech was perfect. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, no more. Perfect matching. Okay, so, and I would like to tell about role presentation. Ekaterina and Veronica. Ekaterina took only 22 seconds for presentation of account role, And Veronica, only 31 seconds for presentation of your role. Your speeches were too short. Our Toastmaster meeting is for learning and practicing, and we have meeting only 2 times per month. Please come here and use your allotted time as much as possible. This is very important things, and I believe that your next role presentation will be a little bit longer. So maybe this is compensation for our evaluator who exceeds, except in malaria, exceeds the time. But I believe this meeting was just great. Thank you for this meeting, guys.
Thank you, Irina, for being so specific and encouraging, and also reminding everyone to speak more and use this opportunity of being a Toastmaster or a guest. And I also would like to emphasize that Irina put an effort into demonstrating signals to the online audience as well, and remembering about everyone in time and going there and demonstrating on this all the signals to the camera. It is also important to engage and remember about the online audience with the timing specifically. So thank you for that. And now we are ready to get some sweets. Hopefully we will. It depends on how attentive we were tonight. And with this being said, I would like to welcome on stage our quiz master. Just a second, I'm sorry, Veronika Fedulova. Do you need some help with? Do you need some help with?
Yes,
With
I need-
everything that you
yes, I
have?
need some.
Good. I will be throwing sweets.
So my presentation was short because I'm learning English and it's not well. Forgive me, please, for a short presentation. So now I'm ready to ask some question. I hope you listened carefully. So my first question. What person has a good sense of humor? C. Which of famous name Nikolai Vasilyev? Okay. Which of famous name Nikolai Vasilyev mentioned in his speech?
Nietzsche.
Pushkin. C. Yes, I'm sorry, C, because I'm
Nietzsche.
learning Italian. Next, what sign is written on the Miles wall? I mean world. See. Attitude. No one. Я пристала. Okay. What kind of transport didn't use Alexander Fedorenko in Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk? 1 second, please. BlaBlaCar, helicopter, bicycle. Didn't use. BlaBlaCar
Bicycle.
use. Bicycle, of course, bicycle, because it's Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk. In winter time, yes, you was in winter. Summertime, sorry. But you didn't use bicycle, yeah? BlaBlaCar and helicopter. Okay, next one regarding Alexander Fedorenko's speech. Choose incorrect expression. What she didn't mention. What she didn't mention. Exploring yourself, impromptu travel, Traveling alone without friends. Right. Next one. Sure. Who say money is very important? No. Who first say? Yes, Alexander. Nikolai. Calm down, please. Who mentioned that he's a typical Cancer? Right. Delete is share. And the last one, who said, don't run to earn the money. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the life. Who say?
Martino.
Miles. Yes, Miles, this is for you. Ну, кто хочет конфетку? Miles can't.
I can't hear you. You need the microphone, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Miles. My question was, you won the candy. Who would you like to share it with?
Oh, our hardworking president, Ekaterina Demova.
Yeah, thank you. Katerina, for you. Yeah, thank you, Miles. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica, for all your questions. Yeah, thank you. It's always so fun to observe how people are competing for candies. Like here we are, 20 grown-ups, but everyone wants a candy. Yeah, I think it's just a nice tradition that we have. I do not think that we've always had it, but someone, I think it was Valeria Hladkova who brought this new tradition to our meetings as well. And now we are all competing for candies, at least from time to time. But thank you, Veronica, for all of your questions. Let's give a round of applause to her as well. And now just the super quick feedback from general evaluator, because we are really behind the schedule. It seems to me that I have just a couple of minutes, if you allow me to conclude our today's meeting. First of all, thank you everyone for such a warm and engaging meeting and for everyone who made it possible, namely the committee of Toastbusters Club. I may be wrong with the exact names, but I definitely know the Madam President, so welcome. A round of applause to her and to the whole team who helped to organize this wonderful meeting. First of all, I would like to say that I always enjoy Toastbusters meeting. I do not know what exactly you guys are doing here, what is it, but the whole atmosphere is just filled with joy and welcoming and jokes, and everything is just so pleasant and nice. So thank you so much. I really look forward to every Toastbusters meeting. Probably I'm not a regular visitor here, but every time I do come here, I really enjoy it a lot. I will give just very brief notes on the major roles that we had today, and then just a couple of notes on what probably could be improved next time. Well, first of all, again, as I said, Ekaterina, thank you for opening the meeting and welcoming everyone, not only when the meeting started, but even before that. Like the way you hugged every single person who entered the room, it speaks actually a lot, and it says a lot about the community here and all the members of Toastbusters Club. And also that you had some kind of a small talk at the beginning, not just straight down to work, like we need to start Toastmasters meeting, but first you talk to people about their holidays, about New Year's resolutions, and so on and so forth. However, I think it would be also important to describe Toastmasters just a little bit, since we had a couple of newcomers today and probably they had no idea what is going on here, who these people are and what is going to happen. I think it could be beneficial for everyone just to know what Toastmasters is. If you didn't know, if you didn't understand it yet, we are all about public speaking. It's Public Speaking International Organization, which by the way is almost 100 years old. So it's pretty decent in its history. So maybe just next time, a couple of words about Toastmasters. Toastmaster of the day, Daniil. Daniil is so sad there. We still remember about your job. Really well done today. Thank you so much, first of all, again, for the atmosphere that you created today and how you interacted with people. Special thanks from me for the topic. I mean, I'm this crazy person who is obsessed with zodiac signs. Like, this is the first thing that I'm asking people, like, when is your birthday? And then, oh, I know your zodiac sign. So I can speak about this for ages. And also, I really enjoyed the quiz that you created today. Like, I think I was answering all your questions. I'm not sure that you heard them, but I was answering all the questions because it just was so fun and so interesting to learn more about the committee and also some celebrities as well. The thing to maybe pay attention more next time was with slides. And I think maybe they could have been checked beforehand because it seems to me that there were some difficulties. It wasn't that crucial, but again, 1 minute here, another is there, and we're losing time when we should not be doing this. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for your wonderful work today as the Toastmaster of the meeting. And then thought of the day, it seems to me that Tatiana has already left us, but still let's give a round of applause to her as well for sharing some interesting facts about superstitions across the globe, because since we're in intercultural organization, we should be aware of all the peculiarities and differences that exist around the globe. So it was, I believe, a very important topic to speak about. Then Table Topic Master, Samira, thank you so much for all the questions that you prepared and also for highlighting the importance of table topic session, because again, it is not something that we always do, but we should, to remind people why it is important to participate in this session and how we can benefit from it in our daily life. Because again, improvisation is not only about public speaking, it's our daily communication. So it is important, and thank you for emphasizing it today as well, and also encouraging the participation of newcomers and of all the guests. It seems to me that online audience was not included though, and maybe we could also pay more attention to them. Well, one of the members has also left us already. So maybe just to include online audience a little bit more so that it could also participate in the table topic session. Anyway, again, as I do hope that I didn't forget about anyone and I commented on every single person and was speaking too much so far. Anyway, thank you so much for this incredible meeting, and back to Madam President.
Thank you, Irina, so much. I always enjoy your speaking. So we are out of time, as already everybody mentioned, and I would like to get down to business immediately. And I would like to start with 2 persons which completed 1 level and 2nd level. Please come on stage, Valeria Pogorelova and Daniil Pyzhlakov. And to also, this is for you. Congratulations.
Take a picture. We've got the camera. Bye.
Yeah, and Daniil Pyzhlakov achieved 2nd level. Congratulations. And I should have Okay, and taking this opportunity, maybe you can make a notes about, speech a little bit.
Unusual announcement.
You have 2 minutes.
Oh, Okay, table topics, practice. Ooh. Okay, does anyone know what celebration happens on the 10th of February in the world? Chinese New Year. And it so happens that we are throwing a party for Chinese New Year celebration. By me, I mean the whole of the Toastmasters community in Moscow and possibly St. Petersburg. We'll see if they come to visit us. So on the 10th of February, there will be not a regular meeting, but a New Year celebration to welcome in the Year of the Dragon, as that is part of the Chinese, not zodiac, what's the word? Chinese signs. Yeah. And if you want to find out more information, you can go to our open Telegram channel, which is Toastbusters Lovers, and you can register there. There is a contribution fee, but in exchange, you will get some prizes, even a little bit of alcohol if you like to drink. If not, we'll have other drinks available. We'll also have games, contests, team tasks, and 2 of our Toastbuster members will be hosting the event. And if you enjoyed today's meetings, one of our hosts will be Daniil, and the second host, Daniil, come on. And the second host will be myself. So if you would like to come and see us. Huh? No, it's not secret. We need a photo for the channel. Yeah, got it? Okay. So come celebrate Chinese New Year with us and the rest of Toastmasters on the 10th of February. 10th of February.
Yeah. And we didn't finish yet with the presentation of awards. And the next presentation is about the best table topic. So the winner of the best table topic is Alexander. Congratulations. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. Maybe a few things I would like to say more. Do I have time? I don't know. So our next meeting will be held in Zeal, not here, unfortunately, but in 4 weeks, it will be here again. So join us. Also, we have international contests. During February, we will have 2 contests, evaluation contests. Yes, am I right? And also international speech contest. Especially new members are encouraged to participate in all of this stuff because it's a great opportunity to, practice your public speaking, at least, right? And how to overcome all fears. So also we have after party stuff, after party scene, and the main person is not here, it's Anna Gonzalez, but yes, Valeria Pogorelova will lead you to the bar or something. And basically that's it, right? And we usually take photo, we are doing all this stuff, so come on stage. Thank you all of you for attending and welcome to our next meeting. So come on stage, guys, faster.
Glue yourself to each other. Thank you. Okay, I can see miles on that side. And your heart mile is beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that. All right. And
Thank you, everybody. So we should switch off. Давай все выключим. Да, закрываем. Потому что здесь нужно все.
Запись в облако, да?